Hello, folks. Welcome back to The Slice. At the Australian Open this year in 2018, Roger Federer won his 20th Grand Slam and again showed us why he is the greatest champion the men's tennis game has ever seen. So here's The Slice on what his 20 Grand Slams means for tennis and what that means for his career. So 20 Grand Slams for Roger Federer is just another notch in his belt, putting space between him and the rest of the field as the greatest male tennis player of all time. His unmatched success is due to a bunch of things coming together perfectly to create the ultimate tennis player, which I believe is Roger Federer. Federer combines passion and competitiveness, mental strength, and talent that is from another realm. And all these things have come together in such a special way, and 20 Grand Slams just shows that. So here is The Slice, breaking down each one of these things: his passion for the game, his mental toughness, and his talent. And these three things are the pillars of his success and the reason he's got to 20 Grand Slams. Now, just before we go on here, I'd like to ask you to consider to financially support The Slice. You can sign up on Patreon, which is the link in the description below. And there you can pledge $1, $2, or $5, or $10 a month to me, to The Slice, so that we can keep developing the videos and making better content for you. I would really appreciate your support, and it would just help us get even that much better. Also, you can buy the Slice tennis t-shirt, which is that ringer shirt I've been wearing in other videos, for a reduced price of $24.99 on our website now. There's only a few left. Please also subscribe to the channel and like this video. First thing I'm going to talk about is Federer's passion for the game and competitiveness. Federer loves tennis. He talks about this all the time, and you can see it in the way that he plays, in the way that he keeps up with the game, and the way he's never burnt out. I mean, it's probably not that hard to not burn out when you've won 20 Grand Slams and you've been this successful. But I mean, you can still tell that he loves the game and that he actually likes getting out there on the practice court, playing, and just doing the thing he loves. And other than just loving the game, Federer loves winning a lot. Like, he is ultra competitive. If he wasn't able to turn his competitiveness off when he left the court, like, he'd be the worst person to ever play a board game with. Like, he's so obsessed with winning, and that drive to keep winning and be the best player he could be and dominate the tour is what has driven him to win this much. Federer also hates losing. He's emotional when he loses, and he can't stand losing to the same person over and over, which has really only happened to Nadal and maybe Djokovic. But here's an example of the passion that he shows for the game and the emotions he has when he gets beaten in the 2009 Australian Open, after he lost in 2008 Wimbledon to Nadal and relinquished the #1 spot to him. And Nadal had kind of overtaken him as the best player on the planet. And the Australian Open 2009 was just a heartbreaker for him.
Maybe I'll try later again. I don't know. God, it's killing me.
But after winning his 20th Grand Slam this year at the Australian Open, you can see that same passion for winning come out, and he's emotional about that as well.
And yeah, you guys, you fill the stadiums, you make me nervous, you make me go out and practice. And just like to thank you for everything.
It's Roger Federer's extreme competitiveness and passion for the game which have kept him from burnout and kept him at the top of the tennis game for all these years. But clearly, you need more than just competitiveness to be at the top of the tennis world and be considered the greatest tennis player of all time, because there's a lot of people out there like me who are ultra competitive, and it's probably not that cool. But Federer also has insane mental strength, because mental strength is necessary for tennis because it's the most mentally challenging sport I've ever seen or played.
It's all mental. It's just you have to go out there and believe that point for point, whatever happens, nothing's going to change. And you just got to believe and keep coming at Rafa, and then if it's too good, that's too good, you know. But I'm not going to get down on myself. And it was easy to tell myself, just you have nothing to lose, Roger. Like I said on the court, it's okay to lose. Like him probably too, it's okay to lose, but you still want it badly.
All the players get tight in certain points, they get mentally down on themselves, and they can get in ruts. But obviously the top guys are able to elevate their game in moments in big moments on the big stage and just put away that sometimes and win. But Federer has been more mentally strong than anyone else, and that is really shown by, I think, his consistency. His consistency has been unmatched by any tennis player. He has been inside the top 10 since 2002, except for when he got injured in 2016, but that doesn't count. Federer has spent more weeks at number one than any other player. He's made it to more major finals, major semifinals, major quarterfinals. His consistency at majors really shows his mental strength, because at majors, if you didn't know this, you have to win 7 matches in a row to get to win a major. And you're playing just the best players in the world. The first rounds, you're playing guys inside the top 100, which they're so good, it's insane. And then you get to the quarterfinals, you're playing guys in the top 10, and then so on, so forth. And he's been playing Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Andy Murray, who are some of the greatest tennis players of all time in these majors. The one stat that sticks out to me is the craziest stat that shows his mental strength is his 23 consecutive Grand Slam semifinals. Federer made it to the semifinals of a Grand Slam 23 times in a row. To get to the semifinals of a major, you have to win 5 matches in a row. And there's 4 majors every year. So that's like 6 years that Federer just won 5 matches in a row, didn't lose early, never choked early. He was able to stay mentally engaged all those times to get to the semifinals. And then sometimes he would lose to, obviously, amazing players like guys in the top 5. And then there was also one run back, this is like before 2010, that he made it to 10 finals in a row. Just absolutely unbelievable consistency. And that goes into his mental strength. And you can see that in matches when he's gotten down, like last year in the Australian Open final. He was down 3-1 to Rafael Nadal in the final set. And we saw him elevate his game and just start playing better somehow and loosening up in the tight moment. And just telling his brain to tell his body to loosen up and go for shots. And we saw that happen before our eyes as he came back from 3-1 down to win the set 6-3 and to claim his 18th Grand Slam at that point. Unbelievable mental strength. It's obviously never been perfect because you're playing against other amazing players, and he's had brutal losses throughout his career that have just given Federer fans PTSD. But the way that he's been able to elevate his games in the big moments to win 20 Grand Slams shows his mental strength, and he's been so consistent at majors. So his mental game has supported that competitiveness and the love for tennis that he already has. So those are 2 things in place that have kept him at the top of the tennis game. But you just can't have these 2 things. Obviously, you need to be really good at tennis to even get there. And Federer, in my opinion, is easily the most talented person to ever strike a tennis ball with a racket. Federer's game is edgy, aggressive, and has such a small margin for error, a smaller margin for error than other players on tour, and like Murray and Djokovic, and I could do another video on that. But the way that he plays is so on edge and so aggressive that if you're a fan of him, you get nervous. But he knows that he has to play that way in order to implant his game on the opponent and dominate like he has. He hits shots that are so ridiculous, and he makes them look so easy that the uneducated eye, the uneducated tennis fan, might just think, oh, that's a normal shot that normal players hit. No. These aren't normal shots.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Shots like that are stupid. It's just insane how it happens, and he's done it throughout his career, and that's why I think he has such a huge fan base, because you watch Federer and you're watching tennis happen in the most beautiful way it's ever been done. But what's crazy to me is he plays tennis in the hardest way possible, I think, which is aggressive, taking the ball early, using one-handed backhand, slicing, hitting the ball with not a ton of topspin, but really aggressively penetrating through the court. So he plays in the hardest way, and he's been the most consistent player ever. The most consistent player ever should have the most easily replicable game, like the game that's just the most easy, less things could break down. Federer's game can break down in so many ways because it's so fine-tuned, but somehow he's gotten that type of game to be the most consistent ever and dominate for this many years. It's insane. We are watching basically a unicorn play tennis right now. We're watching somebody that I don't think we'll ever see again, and that's what makes Federer's 20 Grand Slams so special. He has shown us that he has gotten all these things to come together, and he's made this like perfect concoction of a tennis player. And it's crazy to see, because in life, nothing ever really works out that perfectly. But it seems like Roger Federer's game has worked out perfectly. He's got the mental strength to back up his extreme competitiveness and love for the game. And his talent is there, obviously. And it's all come together to be perfect. So 20 Grand Slams is the bar that Roger Federer has set again for men's tennis, showing how crazy it is that he's that good for that long and in that form. Roger Federer is the greatest tennis player to ever play. 20 Grand Slams shows how dedicated he's been to the game for this long, and it shows how truly remarkable it is that we get to live in the time of Roger Federer and get to sit back and witness his greatness. Thank you for tuning into The Slice, folks. Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any important videos and you become the smartest tennis fan you can be. Also head to theslicetennis.com for all the best fan-written articles from around the world on the game we all love, tennis.